Elemental Dignities. It seems so hard, but it's actually really easy. In this video, we're going to make it extremely easy to where you're going to be doing it immediately after this video and you're never going to forget it. It's excessively easy. So first off, I know Beginner 101, what is elements? Well, you have 4 different suits in the bicycle playing cards. You know what I'm saying? You got hearts, diamonds, etc., etc. You got 4. Just the same thing as tarot cards. First of all, you've got wands, or in this case, rods, right? Wands are just the sticks. Wands are fire. Then you got swords. Swords are air. Then you got coins or pentacles. Pentacles in coins are earth. Then you got cups, and of course that's water, because water fits in a cup, right? All right, 4 elements. Now, all elemental dignities is how these 4 elements relate. You remember when you were in school, and you had a brand new school to go to, and you went there and you had to sit next to somebody you didn't know, right? Or you had a brand new job and you had to sit next to somebody you didn't know. You're praying that you and this person will get along. If not, there's going to be a fight, right? So basically that's the same as elemental dignities. Either these are going to get along when they're together, or they're going to get in a fight. So it's a good or bad or neutral. It's, you know, so basically let's concentrate on the good and the bad. Now, just like in school when you're sitting together, you need to be together to have an elemental dignity even come into play. So if I have rods and swords and they're way apart over here and you have a good distance between them, they're not going to really interact that much. Just like if you're sitting over here and your worst enemy in school is sitting over here, as long as you're apart, like the teacher will separate you, then you're doing good, right? If you're best friends or whatever, you probably want to be together, but if you're apart, it really doesn't matter. So elemental dignities only comes into play when 2 cards are next to elements, are next to each other. All right, so here's the example I have in school. As you can see, if the cards are far apart, no biggie. The cards are together, that's when you have to start worrying about elemental dignities, all right? So let's go into exactly what they are. Let's first look at fire, which is wands, and air, which is swords. Now, if you're just a roaming fire and you're not very big and you're not making much progress with being a fire and eating up wood in the forest, and a huge gust of air comes along, air and oxygen feeds fire, so that's going to be good. In addition, you have active and passive dignities. That's also going to be very active. In fact, that's going to be the only active combination you have in all of the dignities. So remember, if a fire's going and air comes along and helps it by blowing it into more trees and blowing it into more brush or whatever, then that's going to grow. The fire's going to grow and develop, and it's going to become huge. And that's a good thing that for elemental dignities. So you have a very active fire and is being fed by oxygen and air. That's a good combination. In addition, that's the only active combination in all of the combinations that you're going to see. Now, what's fire not like? Fire does not like water, right? If you come along and the fire's going good and it's having a good day and some firemen come along and put it out, then that's going to be bad. So fire and water is bad. The active part of fire that was chugging along and having a good time is now stifled by the water that's put on it by the firefighters. So what do you do to fight a fire? You douse it with water, right? So this is a bad combination. This is going to be the active getting doused by the more passive water over here. So this is a bad combination of elemental dignities. Now let's look at money. Money or pentacles or coins, right? If you have this certain element of earth, which is money, and you add a cup to it, that's going to be a good thing because the cup is going to hold your money. Yes? The cup is going to hold your money. Now, this is passive, right? Fire and air was active because the fire is going to be fed by the air, but this is passive because, yeah, the money's not really going to go anywhere as long as it's in the cup. Yes? So money in a cup is a good thing, and it's going to be passive because it's not moving anywhere and nothing's happening. It's just going to sit in the cup until you take it out and spend it, right? So money in cups is good, and it's also passive. Now, what's bad for money? Only thing bad for money in here is air. If you have your money out and it's sitting there nice and safe and on your table, or you have it in your wallet and you pull it out to pay for something, and a big gust of air comes and it flies away, right? It's going to be bad. So money and air is bad. You do not want your money flying around like in this video right here. See, if you drop a 20 in this hurricane-style wind, it's just going to blow away and you will never see that 20 again, and you'll probably get hit in the head with a flying brick from that. So money, air is bad. Yes? So what's good and what's bad? We got fire and water is bad. Money and air is bad. Now, fire and air is good because air and the oxygen is going to feed the fire and it's going to grow. Yes? So that's not only good, but that's active. And money in a cup is not only good, but that's passive. So that's basically elemental dignities. Very simplified version of it, but that's your elemental dignities. So now let's put the rest of my money in this cup, which is good, by the way, and it's also passive. And let's go through some examples. So here we have the 5 of Wands and the 8 of Swords. Yes? So we have fire and we have air. What do you remember about my combinations here? Fire and air is good. Not only is it good, but it's active. It's very active because the air and the oxygen is going to feed the fire and make it grow. So if we have a reading with these two in it, they're both going to be together, they're going to be good. So if Susie Q is asking about her relationship with her new boyfriend Michael, you're going to say that, I mean, it's going to be, pretty good just from the elemental relationship standpoint here. You have fire, which is going to heat up the relationship. Then you have air, which is going to feed the relationship even more heat. And you have a very active type of relationship going here just from the elemental dignities alone. Now, what if we put a bunch of cards in between it? Then suddenly the elemental dignities no longer apply because the cards are way far apart. You remember the rule, like in school? If it's far away, it doesn't really matter. If it's right up close, then it does. Now we have some interaction here, and we have an elemental dignity to worry about, and that is fire and air, which is good and active. So now we have fire, back to the 5 of Rods and the whole conflict thing going on, and then we have cups and water. Now you remember, fire and water is bad. The water is going to distinguish the active part of the fire. So if someone has a question about their work and they're trying to get a promotion or something like that, well, they do have the fire, they are doing the work that they need to do, they are having the ambition that they need to have, or whatever like this. But there is some conflict here. You have the fire, but now you have the cups. The cups is going to extinguish a large part of the fire. So in this portion of this spread, that is a bad elemental dignity combination because the fire, the active part of what he's doing, what he's trying to accomplish and things like that is getting squashed down by the water portion of the cups over here. So fire and water is a bad combination. So now someone has a question about, well, that involves coins. So this is the 10 of Pentacles, yes? Involves money, coins, pentacles, and you're introducing the 3 of Cups into the situation. So now, do you remember what the situation here is? Yes, the coins, the money, and the cups, the cup. We're back to the stability, right? Very passive stability, but still stability. And it's the only passive combination we have. So when you get the coins and you get the cups, it's going to be a very passive combination. So if someone's asking about an active, something that needs to be active, like I just started a new hobby and I'm wondering how I'm going to do with it, or I just started a relationship and I'm wondering how heated it's going to get. Well, you do have the coins, you do have the earth over here, and combined with the cups or the water, it's going to be a very passive situation. The whole thing is passive. This is a good combination, but it's going to be passive. So if you're looking for something to just jump alive and come together and just be just totally awesome, well, you're probably not going to get it in this situation. Yes, that cup ain't going anywhere, dude. So you got coins, you got cups. It's going to be pretty passive, but it's a good combination. This is not a bad combination. Just not going to be as active and vibrant as like fire and air is going to be. So it's kind of a dull situation here. So remember, pentacles and cups, it's passive and it's still good, but it's just not going anywhere. Now we have money situation number 2. Elemental dignities when you add in the swords or the air, right? The cup is no longer around. Now the sword or the money and the air, money is going to be flying around, moving around, very bad combination for your money, yes? So your stability of your earth over here is kind of becoming unstable more or less from the air that's passing along here. So if you have pentacles or coins and an earth, then you have air right next to them, that's going to be a bad combination because your money is going to be flying off, yes? So the money flies off, the stability of the earth is kind of shaken a little bit, and you have the bad combination of pentacles and swords, or earth and air. So let's say someone has a reading where they want to know about their financial stability. You do have a 10 of coins, which does point to, I mean, a very financially stable, earthly type of thing, and it's very good. But then along comes the 5 of swords, the air, that has this conflict going over here, and this conflict is going to kind of disrupt the stability over here. So you have the stability of the earth, then you have the instability of the air, the kind of a movement of the air, and it's going to be a bad combination over here. So now what happens when you have a combination that we didn't cover? Let's say fire and earth. Yes, we didn't cover fire and earth at all. We covered fire and water and fire and air. Fire and earth are neutral. Who cares? Don't memorize it. Let it go away. Goes away. Don't worry about it. It's neutral. So now, last piece, very easy piece here. What happens when you have pentacles with more pentacles, or earth with more earth, right? You're looking at earth on earth on earth, which obviously if you've ever built a house, means rock solid stability. If you have earth with no air in underneath it, or no fire going on, or anything like this, you have rock solid stability. So earth next to earth is just going to be stable. That's it. Just a lot of earth, man. Just going to be stable. You can build your house on it, whatever. Somebody's asking about their job. I'm concerned about my job, about losing my job, or whatever. There's some turnover like this. You're going to get these 2 earths and maybe another earth or whatever. This looks very stable. This is a very stable type of thing. Especially look, the 3 of Pentacles with the very hard work here. Just, you know, keep on working hard with it and show that you can work harder than anybody else, and just, you know, make sure that you're contributing enough, and you'll have the 10 of coins, which is a very rock solid, stable, you know, very happy type of card. So earth with earth is rock solid, stable. So now you have cups with more cups. Shrek! So cups with cups. Well, cups with cups is kind of a stillness because you have water on water. Water with water, it's kind of a stillness, you know? The ocean's really not going to move anywhere. That big pond that you used to swim in when you were a kid is not really going anywhere unless it dries up. It's just stillness. Water's not really going to go anywhere. Sure, of course it has tides and it's going to move up and down, but I mean, overall, big body of water ain't moving. So you have a very still, just think stillness, a very lack of movement here. So somebody asking about a relationship with their friends, and they're wondering if it's, you know, their friends are pissed off at them or whatever. I mean, you have a very positive card here with the 10 of Cups, a very family-oriented card, and you have a friendship card with the 3 of Cups over here. And if you look at the 2 elements of water, you just have a stillness, right? The ocean's not going to move 20,000 miles north. It's just not going to happen, dude. So just a stillness here. You have a stillness, and not as a rock-solid stability as 2 earths, but you do have the stillness, and you don't have a lot of movement here. So now what about fire with fire? Fire with more fire is going to be a really big fire, right? It's going to be a lot of action. It's going to be like a big Hollywood production, summer blockbuster action movie. There's going to be gunshots, there's going to be movement here, there's going to be lots and lots of action, lots and lots of things going on. So if you have fire with fire, and even if you have another fire over here, I mean, you're just going to have this combination is all about action, man. Think about just the weirdest Bruce Willis movie where he's totally and, you know, just fighting 20 different people. You're just going to have a lot of action here. Of course, you have the 5 here, which is a conflict card by itself, and you have a lot of conflict going on over here in the 5. Then you have the stability card over here. I really think this 5 is going to knock some instability into this stability that you have with a 4. So you have a lot of action. There's not going to be stillness like in water. There's not going to be the rock solid foundation like in two earths combined or two pentacles combined. You're going to have just a lot of action between these. So get prepared. Buckle down. There's some action coming in. And finally, we have swords with swords, air with air. Now back to the hurricane footage. Now there's a lot of motion here, right? A lot of motion. Now, is anything really getting done? No, not really. So it's a lot of airhead. Just think airhead. If there's air and air, it's airhead. I mean, an airhead, he's going to talk a lot, but is he going to make any sense? No, not really. So you're going to have a lot of motion, a lot of movement, a lot of things going on, but nothing getting accomplished, right? So back to the footage. Again, airhead. Think airhead. A lot of air together is not going to be a good, I mean, it's going to be okay, it's going to be neutral, whatever, but it's not going to be a lot of accomplishment here. So if you have a reading, let's say we have a reading, right? We got the 5 of Swords with the conflict, then we got the 8 of Swords with the lady kind of bound up. Yes? You're going to have a lot of conflict. You're going to have a lot of, not knowing what's going on, or kind of a sense of, being imprisonment or whatever. But you're just not going to get a lot accomplished in these situations. There's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of conflict, a lot of grief from this. But if this is a relationship reading, you're going to have conflict. You're going to have, a sense of being smothered or whatever in this relationship. But at the end of the day, there's not going to be a lot of progressive motion in the relationship. It's just going to be kind of an airhead relationship. So think airhead, air, and air. That's it. That's the end of Elemental Dignities. Wasn't that easy? All these things you read make it seem all difficult. It's not difficult at all. Now, I'm Tarot Oracle, and this is, video, 5? That's it, video 5, intuitive lesson.